Hi, I'm Doug Reid, and this is going to be a short video presentation on using your 12-inch disc sander with your Shopsmith Mark V or Mark VII. A couple things we'll need to talk about is what you will need. Obviously, you need the sanding disc. You'll need some sandpaper that goes on that, and the lower saw guard, and that's really about it. So what I like to do is put these together by taking the lower saw guard and the sanding disc, put them together like so. Then when I slide this into place, we put these together, slide the disc all the way back, line it up with a flat spot. That's your basic setup, one of the easiest setups you'll find in your Shopsmith system. I always like to point out that when you're sanding, you want to sand between this section and this section. If you think of that quadrant right there, that's where we want to do our sanding with this. Reason for that, of course, is our rotation is such that we want to make sure that the sander is pushing our piece of wood down onto the table. If I were to get back into this area, it would want to lift it up and might cause me problems. So sand from here to here and you'll be in great shape. As far as the right speed, with the newer Mark VII, it's much easier to get exactly the right speed. I set it for sanding, I set the grit of the sandpaper, I set the type of wood, hardwood or softwood. It only takes a second to do that. What that comes up with is 1150 RPM for this type of sanding. Let's start off with a little bit of freehand sanding. If you're wanting to just round off a corner like this, or maybe put a little 45-degree bevel on your piece like this, it's easy to do freehand. So I'll turn the machine on, turn the dust collector on. Does a beautiful job. If I want to sand the end grain here, I would usually use my miter gauge for that to hold it. And then if I want to round something off, as you see here, and that's it. A place where you might use freehand sanding would be for making toys and craft work where you want it to be smooth, but it doesn't have to be exactly precise. Here's another example. Let's say you want to make yourself a little throwaway push stick that you can use with your table saw. If I were to hold this back here on this corner with my hand, it might be a little uncomfortable where that corner would be digging into my skin there. So what I'm going to do is just round that off very quickly, the same way I did before. And that works just fine. Another great feature of your Shopsmith disc sander is the ability to sand angles and compound angles. For example, if you're building picture frames and you want to make sure that joint fits together just perfectly and looks very professional, this is absolutely the best way that I know of to make that happen. One of the very best things about the Shopsmith disc sander is the ability to sand a board to length. Now here you'll see I've scribed a line with my square and my pencil on the end of this piece of wood, and I'm just using my disc sander to sand right up to that line and no more. And let's take a look at the quill feed stop lock. The other way that I can make sure that everything is exactly the same length is to use my quill feed stop lock. Once I have the length of one piece the way I want it, by setting this stop, every other piece will be exactly the same length when I sand it. It will be smooth, it will be square in both directions, and perfectly the same length. One of the best things going. And to review once more, you can use your disc sander for freehand sanding. You can sand angles and bevels, and maybe best of all, you can sand a piece to length and have the piece come out with beautifully sanded ends, square, trued up, and every piece exactly the same length. This is Doug Reid. Thanks for watching.